Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome back to Cypress Automation Tool Beginners Tutorial. In my previous session, I have explained you what are all the different features of Cypress Automation Tool and how can we set up Cypress environment and what are all the prerequisites to install the Cypress. So this is our lesson 3 where I'll be explaining you how can we install Cypress and how to set up a project by using Cypress automation tool so that we can automate the test cases. So this is very important session guys for our upcoming lessons. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon, you'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you. Okay, so in this lesson, following are the topics that I'm going to cover. So if you remember in my previous session, I have already covered how can we install Node.js. Okay, so you can visit the link that is showing in the on the screen. I'm going to leave that link in the description, so you can use the description to navigate to that particular session. Okay, and then I'm going to teach you how can we install Visual Studio Code, which I'm going to use as an IDE or as an editor. So basically it is an IDE where I'm going to write the scripting to automate the test cases. And then I'm going to teach you how can we create a new folder for a Cypress project. And then how can we open that particular folder by using Visual Studio Code. So once we open the Visual Studio Code, and then we are going to use the VS Code terminal to create the dependency management file package. Okay, I'm going to explain you practically by using Visual Studio Code. Okay, and then I'm going to run some npm commands to install this Cypress. I'm going to teach you how can we install Cypress by using Visual Studio Code, and then how can we open the Cypress by using Visual Studio Code in code terminal. And then I'm going to walk you through the Cypress automation tool at a high level so that you can understand the tool for the upcoming sessions where we will start automating the test cases. Okay, so now let's jump onto the system and see all these actions practically in my system. So what is our first agenda item? Our first agenda item is install Node.js. Okay, as I told you, I've already explained this concept in my previous session, and you can visit this YouTube link to see the session. Okay, and then now next, what is our next step? You need to install the Visual Studio Code. For that, you need to go to Google and then type Visual Studio Code download, and then you need to select the first link, code.visualstudio.com. So as soon as you select the first link, it is giving you an option to download for Windows, Mac, right? So because I'm using my Windows, I'm gonna click this button so that it downloads the Visual Studio Code for Windows. So as if you see, I already downloaded Visual Studio Code setup.exe file. So that's why I don't want to download again. So it will take a couple of minutes for you to download. Okay. So let me go to downloads folder. So once Visual Studio software is downloaded, all you need to do is double click on this .exe file and then accept the agreement. Click on next button, and you need to make sure that you have to check the register code as an editor, and also you want to add the path because this is very much important. You need to add the Visual Studio code path in your system variables. Okay, so this needs to be checked, and then you need to click on next and then click on install. Okay, as soon as you click on install, it will take you some time for you to complete installation. Okay, so because I already installed in my machine, I'm going to cancel the setup, right? So once you install the tool, now you can open the Visual Studio Code from the desktop. So for that, you need to double click on the Visual Studio Code. So which will open your Visual Studio. Okay, so if you are using the Visual Studio for the first time, you will be landing onto this particular, so this is get started page where you will be landing onto. Okay, so here on get started page, if you see, you can start creating the new files, you can start creating the folders and then open folders, and then you can also see some shortcuts where you can see the recent projects that you created, and then you can also see the walkthroughs. And if you want to walk through to get started with the git lens, you can just click on this. And then if you want to go through the introduction of the GitLens Plus, you can click on this. So GitLens is basically, it enhances the, GitLens enhances the capability of accessing Git from Visual Studio. Okay, you can see all these features, and also I think, yeah, so that's your Visual Studio. And what is our next item? So we need to create a new folder for Cypress project. Okay, so let me go to my system, and in Cypress automation, I'm going to create a new folder called YouTube lesson underscore Sci framework. Okay, so now we created a folder. Now I would like to open this folder by using Visual Studio. Well, how can we do that? There are two ways. Either you can click on this open folder, or you can go to file and click on open folder and select the folder that just now you created. Basically, I created a project. Okay, I'm selecting the folder and select folder. So as soon as you select folder, so in my previous, because I have opened my project earlier, I want to save this and navigate to the new folder. Okay, so let me open the folder again, open the folder, select folder. Okay, so as soon as I select the folder, if you see, it's going to create an empty project for you. So this is my empty project. You can see this is my YouTube lesson Cypress, right? Framework. So this is my empty project, right? So we created a folder, and then we opened the folder from Visual Studio. And now we have to open an VS Code terminal. How can we open the terminal? On top menu, you can see terminal, and click on new terminal. As soon as you click on new terminal, a new terminal will be opened in the same project folder location. If you see here, Cypress automation YouTube lesson framework, that means it opened a terminal in this particular folder. Okay, so now we have opened the terminal, and we are going to create a dependency management file now. How? So let's execute npm init -y. So what it will do, I'm going to tell you. Okay, as soon as you enter this, it's going to initiate, or it's going to create a package.json. If you see on the left side, it created a package.json file in the same project folder. What is this package.json? So if you are familiar with your Maven framework by using Java, you know about the pom.xml. Okay, pom.xml manages all the dependencies. In the same way, here in Cypress, package.json is going to manage all the dependencies. If I want to provide the description of this particular package.json, this is my first project. Let's provide that. And then you have the name of the package, and then you have a scripts and test. So this I'm going to explain you in further videos, in the upcoming videos. And we have keywords, author, license. Okay, so this package.json manages all the dependencies. If you want to share this project to any other team members or to any other cloud, if you manage all the dependencies in package.json, once you share the project along with project package.json, then you need not to install the dependencies again. Automatically it installs all the dependencies that is corresponding to the package. Okay, so done. So we completed a creation of the package.json, which is a dependency management. Okay, and then we need to install the Cypress now. And one more thing is this, whatever the command that we executed, which is init command, right? So that command gives us a capability to start executing the npm commands. Okay, so now I need to install a Cypress. Okay, for that npm, sorry, so let's go to terminal, npm install Cypress. Either you can provide this command, this will install your latest Cypress. Okay, what is the latest Cypress that we have? Let me Cypress versions. So if you go and see Cypress versions, the latest Cypress version that is available during this video recording is 10.8.0. Okay, so this command will install the latest Cypress version. If you want to install any specific version, you can specify at the rate 6.0.0. This will install the corresponding version. So, and one more thing, what I am doing, I'm installing the Cypress once I create the project folder. That means I'm going to install the latest version under this project only for this particular project, because I want to use this version. So this way I can maintain different versions if I want to use a different version for different project, right? That's why I created project and then I am installing Cypress version in the project folder. Okay, so now this will, once I click on npm install Cypress, this will install the latest Cypress version. Okay, the latest Cypress version is 10.8.0. Let's see what it's gonna install. It will take a couple of minutes for you to complete installation, so bear with me. So it is installing all the, okay, Cypress version is done. So how to see what is the Cypress version that is installed? npm hyphen Cypress hyphen version, the v. So if you see, I can see that the Cypress version is installed. Okay, I think it's, sorry, I need to, because Cypress software is already installed into my local machine. So now I can use npx. Npx represents the node package manager commands that if you want to execute in the local folder, then you are going to use npx, but not the npm, right? Cypress hyphen v. Now we'll see what is the local folder that tells me the version of the Cypress. If you see, 10.8.0 is my Cypress version, which is the latest version. Okay, so we have completed installation of the Cypress, right? And then you need to open the Cypress. How can we open the Cypress? So now you need to, let me clear the terminal npx again, because I'm opening the Cypress from my local folder. Npx Cypress open. So as soon as you enter npx Cypress open, it will take couple of seconds for you to open the Cypress automation tool. Okay, it opens a Cypress automation tool. Yes, so this is my Cypress automation tool. Okay, welcome to Cypress. So it is asking me to select the testing types. So end-to-end testing is one type, another one is component testing. Okay, if you want to see the differences, you can click on these differences and then accordingly you can select the testing type. For us, end-to-end testing is our importance. Okay, so now click on this and then configure. I'm going to configure the end-to-end testing, right? And it's gonna configure all these files for my end-to-end testing. Okay, click on continue. So as soon as you click on continue, it's gonna show you on the screen, it's gonna initialize the configurations and it will ask you to choose the browser. So let's say I want to. So as I told you in my previous sessions, Cypress supports Chrome, Edge, Electron, Firefox. So now I want to conduct a test. I want to basically use a browser Chrome, and click on start end-to-end testing in Chrome. As soon as you click on start end-to-end testing Chrome, it's gonna create, it's gonna show you the specs. Okay, so this is a web browser which is a cloud tool. Okay, cloud Cypress tool where you'll be running the tests and where you'll be analyzing results. Okay, here create your first spec. So these are some examples, scaffold example specs. So we can generate, basically if you select this, Cypress will generate some of the examples of the specs, some of the examples tests. Okay, I'm going to select that, and these are all the examples that I want to see. Okay, we added following files to your project. Okay, so it created a project. See, under this project, YouTube lesson Cypress Cy framework, it created the some of the sample tests. If you see here, these are some of the sample tests provided by sample examples provided by Cypress. Let's say I want to execute my first spec or test. If you click on this, it's going to execute. Basically, it's going to run all the tests in Chrome browser. Okay, if you see here, it started testing. See, it's typing something here, right? And then it's typing here, and these are all the steps. If you see the left side, command viewer, right, command log viewer, it is executing this step now, and it is executing this command log, right? So it is executing the test that I selected. Okay, if you see here, if I expand this test, for each test, these are all the different commands that that they built as a script, right? Whenever I hover on these commands, right, it is showing me on the right side, it is showing me the screenshots, right? So let's say if I want to go to the next test, right? So as soon as I hover on this, see, it is showing me the screenshots. Okay, so let's go back to specs again, and you have lot of examples, lot of other examples, right, where you can run and you can see the runs and you can run the tests, and you have settings. If you want to see the settings, there are project settings, device settings, and dashboard settings. Okay, and also if you see on the top right corner, it is showing me the version of your Cypress, and you can select the browser that you want to execute the tests, right? And also you have a link to your documentation, right? And now let's go back and close this Cypress tool. Let me close this. As soon as you close, you see the browser has been, the project tool has been closed, and then I can close this. Now if you see, if you observe closely on the left side, as soon as I install the Cypress and open the Cypress, it created a Cypress folder here. If you observe this Cypress folder, there are three different subfolders: our important folder is end-to-end E2E folder, where we are going to manage all our tests. If you see E2E folder, Cypress gave us a default examples, right? Examples. These are all the examples just now I showed you, and we ran this actions test. If you see, this is the script they wrote here. These are all the different tests. Whatever there in the it, this is one test, this is second test, right? These are all the different tests that they automated, right? And then if you don't want, if you want to keep these examples, you can keep. So my recommendation is to keep these examples so that you can refer some scripting here. Okay, if you want to delete, you can delete these two folders. That's not a problem. But whatever the tests that we are going to automate, we are going to automate in this folder. And then there is another folder called fixtures. Under fixtures, you can see example.json, where this is where I'm going to maintain all my data files. So this is the file where I'll be creating, which represent the data, and then I can manage all the data files. And you have another folder called support. Under support, you have a commands.json, right? Here, the commands.js is where you will be managing the custom commands. Basically, your what I can say, custom functions you can write here. Okay, you can override your commands and you can build your custom commands, and you will be overwriting the existing commands. Okay, and then you have E2E JS, end-to-end JS, where you will be managing your global configurations. So here I'm gonna maintain all global configurations in this E2E.js. Okay, so that is done. And then if you see, you can see node modules also, where all the library files are downloaded related to this particular module, project nodes, right? And then if you see here, there is a cypress.config.js. Okay, and this is where we will be managing our configurations like versions, and then you can manage some other configurations also. Okay, I'm going to explain what are all the different configurations that you can manage here. And then I already explained you package.json, right? This is your dependency management file. Okay, hope this is our overview on your Cypress tool and overview on the Cypress project and your project structure. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can provide your queries in the comment box so that I can reply to your queries. Okay, so this is really very important concept. So in my next sessions, I'm going to start creating our first test. Okay, so I recommend you guys to go through this particular video a couple of times so that you'll be ready to start automating the test cases. Okay, please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you.